Every morning, the countdown begins for the markets with meticulous research and analysis designed to help you capitalize on the trading day. Beaming live from the CNBC TV18 Motilal Oswal studio.
Good morning. You're with us here on a fresh new edition of Bazaar Morning Call. We are coming to you live from the CNBC TV18 Motilal Oswal studios. Thursday morning, lots happened overnight and lots ahead. We will track all of that for you. I'm Prashant. With me, my colleagues Surabhi and Nigel. Guys, good morning.
Hi, morning folks. Morning Prashant, morning Nigel. I guess the big global event is out of the way. Those Nvidia numbers are done. They're good. Their guidance is good. And the AI trade is back. We've actually got the Asian markets roaring far more than what we saw on Wall Street.
Yeah.
What does that mean for us? Now, that is the question. Again, at 26,100.
We are going to be at all-time highs in November itself. 1% away, I think.
In November, wow.
I mean, it's just a few sessions away. We have expiry as well that plays out. And actually, the feeling you got yesterday looking at the screen itself was good because we ended virtually at the high point of the day. So I'm feeling good. And I think getting into this festive season, Indian markets will participate.
Yeah. All-time highs, but without too much enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the problem. Portfolios are not feeling like that.
IT was the big star,
Yes.
3%,
Yes,
and no real discernible reason except that nobody has it in their portfolios. Earlier it was Reliance. So, I mean, the index, and these are all heavyweights and important for the index to do well. Maybe, the thing to focus on, perhaps we say, well, focus on stocks and not the index. Maybe the thing to focus on is the index because the index is kind of being held up. Okay, well, let's just quickly run you through what you need to know as we begin this session. U.S. equities rose. S&P was up 0.4, Nasdaq was up about 0.6%, Nvidia was up 3% going into results, and of course it posted results after close. Basically, it posted another set of beat and raise, earnings, a set of earnings. Basically, they beat what was the consensus, and then they raised their expectations for the Jan to March quarter. After hours, the Nvidia stock is up 5%. By the way, Jensen Huang essentially has said in the conference call which happened, and the call essentially is, and he addressed a whole bunch of things, nothing on China, but everything else he addressed. But the critical thing he said is that as far as the Blackwell chips are concerned, demand for Blackwell chips, the phrase he used is off the charts, it's kind of sold out. So this is, and I think the market's, of course, taking heart from it. Now, Nvidia, we'll talk more about this a little later. Google parent Alphabet was up 3.5% and, we're close to a new high on that one. Oil prices, meaningful move, and that's the reason why I'm pointing to it, 2% lower, $63.5. There was this headline in the Financial Times that, US and Russia are working on a new plan for peace in Ukraine. Dollar index went up. The other one was dollar, which has been absolutely muted, right? But the dollar index went up 0.5%, and we're above that 100 handle. So did something happen for the dollar to move? And we'll sort of discuss this with our guests as well. But, we're back above the psychological 100 handle on the dollar index. All eyes on Thursday for the delayed September NFP. We got confirmation that the October jobs report in the US will not be released. It will be most likely bunched up with the November number. But September data we will get, later tonight out of the US. And I think markets will watch this closely. IT stocks did well yesterday, just to kind of sort of come to our markets. So index was up 3%. And as I said, maybe under ownership, perhaps the biggest factor. Otherwise, not very much out there, which kind of explains this kind of a move. Stocks were up between 3, 4, 5%. The other indices, the PSU Bank Index continues to do very well. And the capital market space also did well. Those are the three, indices, IT, capital markets, and PSU banks. So this is the setup then in terms of levels for the Nifty. 26,100, which is 50, 60 points away on as far as the upside is concerned. And that's been the upper end of the range. Support, which has moved higher and higher. Basically the 20 days, being dragged higher. And that is 25,820. For the Nifty Bank, support is the 20-day, which has again been dragged up. 58,200, or you could use hourly averages, but, because the 20-day now is almost 1,000 points away for the Nifty Bank from where it closed yesterday. And of course, it's still in that rising channel, and the upper end of that channel is 60,000. 650. It's a level we've put out over the last couple of days as well. So that's the setup as we come back into this Thursday morning session. GIFT Nifty gives you a quick sense of how we are starting. 60 points on top of the 140 odd points yesterday. So it's going to be a decent start. Nigel has walked across with the F&O stats and positioning. Nigel, over to you.
Well, Nvidia's numbers as well as the way ahead indicate that things will look up for the company. Will this rekindle the AI rally? Well, that's what we saw in after market hours, in terms of the US market. All those future stocks, they were higher. But will it spook the IT stocks? Because yesterday, that one went up by close to 3%. Remember, they have been missing in action from the AI trade. However, I think that under ownership, as well as there was some delivery-based buying. So this as well could continue to trend along, even though Nvidia has given a good set of numbers and the AI trade could be rekindled. But this one appears, the markets appear that they're looking ahead with regard to the IT stocks. So that's going to be an index that's going to be on our radar. Yesterday, if you look at the FI data, on all fronts, actually, it was positive. They bought in the cash market, both the FIs and the DIs on the same side, which is good. Institutions net buying. If in the futures market, if you look at the index futures, well, out there, in fact, you did have on Nifty futures, first of all, there was some kind of covering that we saw. While on the Nifty bank, there were signs of long build-up out there, and that's the one that will have to lead us ahead. But getting back to the FI data point, well, the FIs on index futures, well, they covered some mild shorts out there. The short position continues at around 88%. What about on stock futures? Well, out there, in fact, it was quite interesting because they added more longs than short positioning. And on the option side, they wrote more puts than calls. So put everything together, the cash market buying as well as the F&O data points coming from the FIs, it appears this market is looking good for more. Moving to, the PCR has moved to around 1.29 odd. Remember, we have the monthly expiry that will play out in the next 4 trading sessions or thereabouts. And the reason that the PCR has moved up is because the put writers, they feel that they're in the game and they believe that now, in fact, the fight back is on. So the 25,900 put, solid open interest built up. Premium out there is at around 80 rupees. While on the upside, this 26,050 call had a good amount of open interest built up. And normally when you see premium at 100, 150, 200 rupees, you sense that there is writing being seen at that particular strike as well. So punching in these levels, 25,900 put, 80 rupees premium, you just deduct that, you get around 25,820. And that's spot on where the 20 DMA is at as well. So that becomes the first level of support that you're looking at. Resistance 26,100, 26,200. That's as per the options data. And the Nifty bank, yesterday that was a star yet again. And you'll have to say that will have to lead us ahead because the 20 DMA is close to around 800 to 900 points away from yesterday's close to around 1,000 points actually on the Nifty bank itself. Stocks that I'm looking at, Saman Capital, towards the end of trade yesterday, the stock got slammed. There appeared there was some cash market selling. And as we indicated at around 3:30, 3:20 p.m. itself, that is likely the stock goes into the F&O ban. That's what's happened. The management has put out some clarification. That stock will continue to remain on the radar because of the news flow that's coming in there. The street is a little bit skittish on this IHC deal, though the management is saying they're working towards closing off that deal. And with the stock in the F&O ban, it adds that element of volatility as well. So that's going to be a stock that we'll be keeping on our radar.
Okay, all right. So we'll keep Saman Capital definitely on the radar. I mean, will there be any pullback? Will there be any clarity on the road ahead? That was a big newsmaker last afternoon. By the way, like I said, Asian markets are mostly having a great run, particularly Japan and South Korea. The Japanese market is running away, almost 3% up now. There's the added excitement around a potentially large stimulus, which the government has been promising, and it could be announced as early as tomorrow, which is why the yen has also been falling. So that's the added, excitement in Japan. But yes, I mean, all the other chip-related, shares, even SoftBank, all of them are driving that market higher. The dollar yen still at about 157. The other markets in the region, South Korea is up about 2.7%. We just had Hong Kong on the screen. Hong Kong is actually not, sharing too much of that enthusiasm. You can see the Hang Seng absolutely flat, but Taiwan's doing really well, 2.5% up, largely up. Now, what does that mean for us? Let's see what the implied open is indicating. Can the bulls continue their winning streak? Well, that's the sense right now, with about a 60-point start, and then we'll take it from there. So let's get to the equity call of the morning. Herald van der Lind of HSBC says that there is only so much AI exposure that investors can build in Asia, especially in Taiwan and Korea. In 2026, he expects to see a pivot away from these crowded trades with more focus on India and Indonesia. He says while retail investors continue to power the China market higher, we need to see signs of an earnings recovery. So that's a slightly favorable view on India that HSBC is maintaining. Now,
I don't know what the notice title. I think it's titled Anti-AI Trade.
it is?
I mean, look at what he said. He just read out the quote, right? There's only so much that people can buy into the AI stocks. And in 2026, they'll focus on the non-AI stocks.
I've been waving the anti-AI trade flag for a while. Everyone's been laughing at me, but let's see. Hopefully, we see a little bit. It's just normal portfolio management, right? You do that. You do not put all your eggs in one basket. It's rule 101 of portfolio management. Anyway.